Good morning, everyone. Our topic is all about normal distribution. So ano nga ba ibig sabihin ng normal distribution? But before that, of course, let me show to you our learning competencies. So first is illustrate a normal random variable and its characteristics. Second, identify regions under the normal curve corresponding to the different standard normal values. So these are our learning competencies for today. Now, before we start our discussion on normal distribution, let us recall the definition of a continuous random variable. Okay, so anyone would like to give the definition of a continuous random variable? Anyone from the group? Sai? What is
Sir
continuous
Kenneth.
random variable? Yes, Kenneth.
Sir, the data can take an infinitively, sir.
Okay, so these are random variables that could take infinite values. Okay, who can give me examples of continuous random variables? Will you give me an example or examples of continuous random variables? Anyone?
Sir.
How about the others? May I call in Jasper Ocampo? Will you give me example or examples of continuous random variable?
The distance traveled by tricycle din naman, sir.
Okay, so the distance traveled by a tricycle in a month. So that is an example of a continuous random variable. Very good. So when we talk about continuous random variables, these are random variables, gaya ng sabi kanina, that take an infinitely uncountable number of possible values. So typically, these are measurable quantities. So gaya ng sinabi kanina, example or one example of continuous random variables is yung distance traveled by a tricycle. Another example or examples of random variables, continuous random variables, we have the height of a person, the weight of a newborn baby, the time you spend reviewing, learning your lessons. So those are examples of continuous random variables. Now, continuous random variables or data can be distributed or spread out in different ways. So pwede siyang i-represent in different ways. First, it can be spread out more on the left. So gaya na nakikita ninyo sa figure, so mas mataas yung histogram natin or yung graph natin more doon sa left side. Then, it can also be spread out more on the right side, as you can see. Or, it can be all jumbled up. Okay, nahalo-halo na ganyan. You cannot determine if it is on the left side or on the right side. But there are many cases where the data tends to be around a central value with no bias left or right. So hindi siya left or right, hindi siya jumbled. And it gets close to a normal distribution like this. So there are data or lots of data or cases that the graph of this is a normal distribution like this. So kung nakikita ninyo, parang bell yung shape niya. So that is the graph of a normal distribution. So yan yung pag-uusapan natin ngayong araw na to. Now, the normal distribution, also known as bell curve, is the most important of all the distribution because it describes the situation in which very large values are rather rare, very small values are rather rare, but the middle values are rather common. Meaning to say, pag tinitingnan natin yung graph natin, yung bell curve natin, parang mas mataas yung nasa gitna. So yung mga middle values, yun yung mas common. Okay? So it is symmetric about the mean, showing that the data near the mean are more frequent in occurrence than the data far from the mean. So ibig sabihin, mas madalas na nag-appear yung mga middle values kaysa doon sa smaller or larger values. Kaya kung nakikita ninyo sa graph natin, mas mataas yung graph or yung bar ng nasa middle values. Okay? So, in graph form, normal distribution or simply normal curve will appear as a bell curve. So, bakit siya bell curve? Because it looks like a bell. So, it's often called a bell curve because it looks like a bell. So, para siyang bell yung itsura ng graph niya. Kaya bell curve din ang tawag dito. Bell curve, normal distribution, normal curve, iisa lang yung tinutukoy niyan. Okay. Now, gaya ng sabi ko kanina, the normal distribution is considered the most important curve in statistics. Now, why is it that it is considered as the most important curve in statistics? One reason is many random variables are either normally distributed or at least approximately normally distributed. Heights, weights, examination scores, the log of the length of life of some equipment are just among a few random variables that are approximately normally distributed. Although the distributions are only approximately normal, the approximation is usually quite close. So again, one reason why the normal distribution is considered the most important curve in statistics is because most of the data, most of the random variables that we have represent normal distribution. So that's why it is considered as the most important curve in statistics. In short, marami siyang nire-represent, maraming data, marami siyang gamit. Okay? And another reason is that it is easy for mathematical statisticians to work with the normal curve. So mas madaling i-interpret, mas madaling i-work out yung normal curve or normal distribution compared doon sa ibang type of distribution. A number of hypothesis tests and the regression model are based on the assumption that the underlying data have normal distributions. Now, what are the properties of the normal curve or the bell curve? First, the normal distribution is a bell shape. So just like what I told you, the graph of the normal distribution resembles a bell, or it looks like a bell. Okay, that's why it is called bell curve. So that's one property. Another property of the normal curve is that the mean, median, and mode are equal. So in this case, the mean, median, mode are equal and located at the center of the distribution. So kung nakikita ninyo sa graph natin, nasa gitna yung mean, median, and mode, and they are all equal. Okay, they are all equal. So yung mode, yun yung nagsasabi kung gaano kataas o yung height ng graph, kung gaano kataas yung graph. When we talk about the median, ito naman yung nagdi-divide sa graph into two equal parts. In this case, we have 50% on the left and then 50% on the right. For the mean, it tells us the center of the graph. So in this case, nasa gitna. Okay? So that is one property of the normal curve. Another properties we have, a normal distribution curve is unimodal. So when we say unimodal, we only have one mode. Unlike other distribution na pwede siyang bimodal, dalawa yung mode niya, or mas marami pa. But in this case, pag normal curve yung pinag-uusapan natin or normal distribution, it is unimodal. Iisa lang yung mode niya. Okay? It has only one mode. Number 4, the curve is symmetrical about the mean. So the mean is located at the center, this one. Now, why symmetrical? Because whatever the area of the region on the left side of the mean and also the area on the right side of the mean, pareho lang yan. They are equal. In this case, 50%, 50%. So, symmetrical ang tawag doon. Okay. Number 5, the total area under the normal curve is 1. So the shaded region, the blue one, represents the total area of the normal curve. And since 50% on the left side, 50% on the right side, so that is 100%, or a total of 1. Okay? Another property of the normal curve, the distribution curve is asymptotic to the x-axis. When we say asymptotic, the graph becomes closer and closer to the x-axis, but it will never intersect. So tingnan ninyo sa part dito sa left side. So the graph becomes closer and closer to the x-axis, but it will never intersect the x-axis. It just gets closer and closer. Same goes on the right side of the graph. So the graph becomes closer and closer to the x-axis, but it will not intersect or meet the x-axis. Kaya the distribution curve is considered asymptotic to the x-axis. Asymptote niya yung x-axis. So those are the properties of the normal curve. Now, mayroon tayong tinatawag na standard normal curve. So normal curve, pero mayroon tayong standard. And what is this standard normal curve? The standard normal curve is a normal probability distribution that is most commonly used as a model for inferential statistics. It has a mean, which is 0, and a standard deviation of 1. So as you can see, the graph, this one is the graph of the standard normal curve. The mean is 0. So nakita ninyo na nasa gitna, that is 0. That's the mean. Now for the standard deviation, that is 1. Ibig sabihin, the distance from each division or part of this one, the graph, is equal to 1. So from 0, that is the mean, so that we can get the values on the right side of the mean, mag-add lang tayo ng 1, which is yung standard deviation. So 0 yung mean, plus 1 na standard deviation, kaya we have here a value of 1. Then plus 1 ulit, then we have here 2. Plus 1 ulit, then we have here 3. Okay? For the left side of the mean, again, since the standard deviation is 1 and left side tayo, we are going to subtract the standard deviation, which is 1. So 0 minus 1, we have here negative 1. Then negative 1 minus 1, we have here negative 2. Negative 2 minus 1, that is negative 3. So this figure or this graph represents the standard normal curve. Again, standard normal curve, bakit standard? The mean is 0 and the standard deviation is 1. Please take note of that. Now, in a standard normal curve, there is what we call empirical rule, also known as 68, 95, 99.7 rule. And what does this rule tell us? It says here that about 68% of the area under the curve falls within one standard deviation of the mean. So ano ibig sabihin niyan? Okay, para kunin yung values or range of values that fall within this 68%, we are going to use the formula x is greater than the mean minus the standard deviation, but less than the mean plus the standard deviation. So in this case, since standard normal ka pinag-uusapan natin, so the mean is 0, so 0, and the standard deviation is 1. So in this case, x is greater than 0 minus 1. Bakit tayo nagma-minus 1? Kasi sa left side tayo. But less than 0 plus 1. Plus 1 naman sa right side. So we simplify, negative 1. So x is greater than negative 1 but less than positive 1. So meaning to say, yung 68% ay magsisimula or will start from negative 1 up to positive 1. So the area or the shaded region represents the 68% of the values that are within one standard deviation of the mean. So again, so yung mean nasa gitna, one standard deviation to the right, 1 standard deviation to the left. So kaya, ang range of values natin from -1 to +1. Ano yung area covered? 68%. So 68% of the values or 68% of the data is within -1 to +1. So yun yung ibig sabihin niyan. Another is about 95% of the area under the curve falls within 2 standard deviations of the mean. So ano naman ang ibig sabihin nito? Okay. Para kunin natin yung values or range of values within this 95%, so we are going to use the formula. We have the measurement, or x is greater than the mean minus 2 standard deviations. Then less than u, or the mean, plus 2 standard deviations. So may 2 na tayo dito kasi within 2 standard deviations tayo. So in this case, 0 minus 2 times 1, 1 again, because that is our standard deviation. Then on the right side, we have 0 plus 2 times 1. So to simplify, we have there, x is greater than -2 but less than +2. So ano ang ibig sabihin nito? Kung yung standard normal curve natin, so eto siya, ibig sabihin, 95% of the values or the data fall, or yes, 95% of the data falls under or from -2 to +2. So yan yun. So from -2 to +2, this represents the 95% of the data or the values. Okay? So alam niyo naman na kung paano nakuha si -2 at saka si +2. So 95% of the values are within 2 standard deviations of the mean. And then nearly the entire distribution, which is about 99.7% of the area under the curve, falls within 3 standard deviations of the mean. Ibig sabihin, within 3 standard deviation of the mean, the area or the probability, because the area represents the probability also, is 99.7%. Okay? So how are we going to find the range of values? So we are going to use the formula, x is greater than the mean minus 3 standard deviation, but less than the mean plus 3 standard deviations. So, okay, so we have here 0 minus 3 times 1. Then on the right side, we have 0 plus 3 times 1. So when we simplify, we have there x is greater than -3 but less than +3. So ibig sabihin, 99.7% of the data falls under or from -3 to +3. So yun yung ibig sabihin nun. I'll repeat, from -3 to +3, it represents the 99.7% of the data. Yun yung tinatawag natin na empirical rule. So 99.7% of values are within 3 standard deviations of the mean. Okay, so paano nga ba ginagamit ito? Now let's take a look at this problem or example. 95% of students at school are between 1.5 meters and 1.7 meters tall. So ibig sabihin, in a particular school, 95% of the students, the height is from 1.1 meters to 1.7 meters. Okay. Assuming this data is normally distributed, can you calculate the mean and standard deviation? So ano nga Rod? Or so what is the mean? What is the average height of the students in that particular school? And what is the standard deviation? So yun yung hahanapin natin. So using the empirical rule, of course, the graph of 95%, we have here 2 standard deviations on the right side and 2 standard deviations on the left side. So bali, 4 yan na partitions. Okay, nakikita ninyo, 4. Okay. Now, how are you going to find the mean? To find the mean, since the given is 1.1 meters and 1.7 meters, we just simply add. Then we divide it by 2. So in this case, 1.1 plus 1.7 divided by 2. So it gives you a mean of 1.4 meters. Now, sa graph natin, saan natin makikita si mean na 1.4? Of course, it is located at the center. Okay, 1.4. Next, how about the standard deviation? How are we going to find the standard deviation? Pag sinabi natin standard deviation, ito yung size ng bawat partition ito. Okay? Ilan yung measure nito, ilan yung measure nito from here. Okay. So, how are you going to find the standard deviation? Okay. So, we just simply subtract 1.7 minus 1.1. So, 1.7 minus 1.1 divided by 4. Why divided by 4? Because the given is 95%. Ilang partitions yung 95%? 4. Nakukuha ninyo? Can you follow? Yes. Okay, very good. That's why it is divided by 4. Okay? Kaya, in this case, 1.7 minus 1.1, which is 0.6, divided by 4, ibig sabihin, the standard deviation is 0.15. So, ang size nito is 0.15. So, pag kunin natin yung values to the right of the mean, which is 1.4, and to the left of the mean, which is 1.4 pa rin, mag-a-add lang tayo ng 0.15, which is the standard deviation, or magsusubtract tayo ng 0.15. Okay, so eto siya. So, in this case, paano nakuha yung mga values na yan? Okay, nag-start tayo sa mean na 1.4. Okay, how are we going to get the values on the right side of the mean? So, mag-add lang tayo ng standard deviation ng 0.15. So, 1.4 plus 0.15, it will give you 1.55. Then, 1.55 plus 0.15, it will give you 1.7. 1.7 plus 0.15, it will give you 1.65. Then, on the the left side, so we are going to subtract naman. Subtract the standard deviation. 1.4 minus 0.15, we have here 1.25. 1.25 minus 0.15, it will give you 1.1. Then 1.1 minus 0.15, it will give you 0.95. So, ganon kung paano nakuha yung mga values na yan. Is that clear? Did you? Okay, very good. So, next. So, ganyan yung pagkuha ng mean and standard deviation. Okay, next problem. Will you read, Sanchi?
68% of the marks in a test are between 51 and 64. Assuming that the data is normally distributed, what is the mean and standard deviation?
Okay, very good. Thank you. So let me just repeat. 68% of the marks or the scores in a test are between 51 and 64. So ibig sabihin, 68% of the students got a score from 51 to 64. Assuming this data is normally distributed, what is the mean and standard deviation? Okay, since the given is 68%, so we are going to use the 68% graph, okay, of the standard normal curve. Now, paano kunin yung mean ulit? So how are you going to find the mean of this one? Anyone?
Sir.
Yes, Kenneth.
Sir, 51 plus 64 divide 2.
Okay, very good. So we have to add 51 plus 64 divided by 2, and the mean is 57.5. So ibig sabihin, the average score in that particular test is 57.5. And saan natin ilalagay yung 57.5 na mean? It is located at the center of the curve, okay, or the graph. Next, how about the standard deviation? How are you going to find the standard deviation? Anyone?
Sir.
How about the others?
Sir,
Yes, Wendell?
sir, 64 minus 51 divided by 3.
Okay, why is it that we have to divide it by 3? Tama yung 64, the larger value, minus 51, the smaller value. But why is it that we have to divide it by 3? Wendell?
Sir, kasi yung 68%, tatlo yung linya.
Okay, tatlo yung linya. Okay, so the line, hindi ito yung basis, but rather, ang basis dito, Wendell, is the shaded portion. Okay, so what is supposed to be the denominator or the divisor? Wendell, ilan yung
Sir?
shaded portion? Okay, the denominator is based on the shaded portion. So in
Yes,
that
sir.
case, how many shaded portions do we have in a 68%?
Sir, tatlong linya in the 68% are shaded in that portion.
Is it the line or the red one? Yung red one.
Ay,
yung
the red
tinutukoy
one,
ko.
sir, the red one.
Yes. Ilan?
Sir, 68%.
Oo, ilan yung region? Ilan yung shaded part?
Sir, dalawa.
Dalawa. Very good. Nakuha mo. So, ibig sabihin, anak, dalawa or 2 yung pagdi-divide natin. So, it's not the line that we are going to consider, but the area or the shaded area. Okay? Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I hope that's clear also to the others. So in this case, tama yung sinabi ni Wendell. So we have 64 minus 51. Then we divide it by 2. Ulit why we have to divide it by 2? Because there are 2 shaded regions in a 68%. Okay, so 2 shaded regions. So in this case, the standard deviation is 6.5. Okay, so paano kunin yung values sa left and right ni 57.5 na mean? We are going to add or subtract 6.5. Okay, so the values are, so 57.5 plus 6.5, 64. 64 plus 6.5, 70.5. 70.5 plus 6.5, 77. And sa left side of the mean, subtract the standard deviation. 57.5 minus 6.5, 51. 51 minus 6.5, 44.5. 44.5 minus 6.5, 38. Okay. So that is the mean and the standard deviation of this particular problem. Okay. So is that clear? Can you follow? Okay, very good. Next, the mean life of a tire is 30,000 kilometers. Ibig sabihin, yung tire, yung lifespan ng tire or gulong is 30,000 kilometers. Ibig sabihin, pag naabot na yung 30,000 kilometers, palitan mo na yan. Marahil pudpud na siguro yung tire or yung gulong na yan. And the standard deviation is 2,000 kilometers. What are the possible limits or the range of values if 68% of all the tires? Okay. So 68% of the tires, ano yung range of values niyan? Yun naman yung hahanapin natin. Okay. Now, since that is 68% and the given mean is 30,000 kilometers, of course, we have to locate that at the center of the distribution. So we have here 30,000 kilometers. And since the standard deviation, guys, is 2,000 kilometers, ano ang gamit niyang standard deviation para makuha yung values? Yun yung i-add or isusubtract natin sa ating mean. So in this case, para makuha natin yung other values sa left and right ng mean, so subtract or add lang ng 2,000. So we have here 30,000 plus 2,000, which is the standard deviation, 32,000. Plus 2,000, 34, plus 2,000, 36,000. Okay, on the left side, we have 30,000 minus 2,000. So we have here 28,000. Then 28,000 minus 2,000, we have here 26,000. And 26,000 minus 2,000, we have there 24,000. Okay, kilometers. So, since ang hinahanap natin is the limits within this 68%, so asan lang dyan yung covered ng 68% based on the figure or the graph? You can give me the interval or the range of values within this 68%. Look at the graph. Saan yung 68%? We start from what? Up to what?
28,000 to 32,000, sir.
Very good. So the 68%, ibig sabihin, nasa 28,000 kilometers to 32,000 kilometers. I mean, you say 68% of the tires produced, the lifespan is from 28,000 kilometers to 32,000 kilometers. Okay, so yun yung ibig sabihin nun. Or halimbawa, pwede rin na pag, let's say, we have these tires, then when you try to get one tire, for example, out of those tires, 68% ang makuha mo ay, ang lifespan niya is from 28,000 up to 32,000 kilometers. Okay. Next. Now, how are you going to find the areas under the normal curve given a z-value? Okay. So, ano nga ba itong z-value? Okay, the table of areas under the normal curve, so please listen attentively, is also known as the z-table. So, para makuha natin yung area under the normal curve, given a z-value, ang gagamitin natin is yung z-table. Later, I'll show you what a z-table looks like. The z-score, or the z-value, is a measure of relative standing. It is calculated by subtracting the mean from the measurement and dividing the result by the standard deviation. The final result, the z-score, represents the distance between a given measurement and the mean. Take note, the z-score represents the distance between a given measurement and the mean. So, mean and the given measurement. Yun yung nare-represent ng z-score. Expressed in standard deviation. Either the z-score locates the measurement within a sample or within a population. So, para mas maintindihan natin, okay, let me show you the z-table. So, this is the z-table. Table of areas under the normal curve. So, ito yung gagamitin natin para makuha yung area under the normal curve. So, we have their values on the top. So, z, we have 0, 0, 0.00, 0.01 up to 0.09. And sa left side, we have their 0.0 up to 3 yan, up to 3.0 yan. So, may continuation yan. And the values here, this one, the unbolded values, those are the areas. Okay, areas yan. So this is the continuation, 1.0 up to 1.9. Then 2.0 up to 3.0. Worry not, because I'm going to provide you a soft copy of this z-table. Okay. Now, paano gamitin yung z-table to find the area under the normal curve? Okay, so to find the area under the normal curve given a z-score or z-value, we are going to follow these 4 steps. First, express the given z-value into a 3-digit form. So dapat naka 3-digit form muna siya. Okay, number 2, using the z-table, yung present ko kanina, find the first 2 digits on the left column. So on the left column, doon natin titingnan yung first 2 digits. Then after which, match the third digits, yung from third digit, with the appropriate column on the right. So sa right naman titingnan yung, or sa top, top right, titingnan yung third digit. Then read the area or the probability, because the area represents the probability, at the intersection of the row and the column. So kung saan sila nag-meet, yun yung area or yun yung probability na hinahanap natin. Okay, para mas maintindihan natin, let's take a look at an example. Okay. Find the area that corresponds to z value. Z is equal to 1.36. So paano natin makukuha yung area niyan? Of course, the first thing that we have to do is locate it in a graph para mas ma-visualize natin. In a normal curve, the mean is 0. Again, it is located at the center. Saan natin makikita si Z na 1.36? Since 1.36 yan, ang location niya yan ay nasa right ni 0 or ni min. So yan, 1.36. Now we are looking for the area that corresponds to this Z value. And ano yung area na yon? Take note, yung area is the area between the mean or the 0 and the Z value, which is 1.36. So ibig sabihin, ang hinahanap natin na area is this one. Ito. Yung gitna nila. Okay. Using the Z table, since 1.36 yan, unang tingnan natin si 1.3 muna. Saka na si 0.06. So 1.36, nasaan si 1.3? Tingnan natin dito sa left side. Ito siya. I hope you can see clearly the table. Next, yung dagdag niya na 0.06, we're going to locate that on the top right. So we have here 0.06. Okay? Then to get the area or determine the area, we just look at the intersection. Saan sila nag-meet? At 0.4131. Meaning to say, the area of this shaded region is 0.4131. So, ibig sabihin, itong shaded region na to is more or less 41.31%. Nakuha? Can you follow? Okay. How about the others? So, tingnan nyo lang yung intersection nila. Okay? Just simply look at the table. Next. How about this one? Find the area that corresponds to Z value. Z is equal to negative 2.58. So again, gagawa ulit tayo ng graph. Asan yung mean? Nasa gitna. And the mean is 0. Now, since the given value is negative 2.58, saan siya nakikita? Sa left side. So we have there negative 2.58. And ano yung area that corresponds to this Z value? So again, the area is between the mean and negative 2.58. So in this case, the area that we need to find out is this. So the area between the mean and the given Z value. Now you might ask me, sir, how are you going to use then the Z table? Because the Z table is all positive numbers, but the given Z value is negative 2.58. Okay. Now, in finding the area of negative 2.58, this is just the same as the area of positive 2.58. Pareho lang sila ng area ni positive 2.58. So in this case, we can use 2.58 as our reference. So in our Z table, 2.5 nandoon. Then asaan yung 0.08 nandoon din sa taas. Then we try to look at the point of intersection. And then the area is 0.4951. So that is the area of the shaded region. Again, yung area natin, nagsisimula tayo sa mean. Okay, mean. Up to the given Z value or Z score. So the area of the shaded region is 0.4951 or 49.51%. Another example. What is the area under the standard normal curve which lies to the left of Z is equal to 0.94? Ito naman is to the left. So I would like you to listen here. Okay, to the left of Z is equal to 0.94. So again, the first step, i-visualize natin. So we have 0. Then asan natin makikita si 0.94? It is located near 0, to the right of 0, or the mean. So 0.94. Now, asaan dyan yung left of 0.94? Asaan yung left niyan? Nandito. Kasama yan. Can you follow?
Yes,
So
sir.
all the shaded area is the portion of the graph to the left of 0.94. Okay. Sir, paano ngayon natin kukunin yan? Okay, ganito. Again, still we will be using the z-table. The first thing that we need to find out is the area between the mean and 0.94. Ito, yung mean and 0.94. Ito yung nakikita natin sa z-table natin. Okay, 0 to 0.94. So 0.9, nasan yung 0.4? Nasa taas. Then, locate the intersection. So ito siya. And the intersection is 0.3264. Ibig sabihin, the area of this smaller shaded region is 0.3264. So yun yung area niyan. Again, ang nakukuha lang natin na area sa z-table is the area between the mean and the given z value. Okay. Now, since the area that we need to find out is the area that lies to the left of 0.94, so kasama itong malaking shaded area na to. And what is the value of this?
50.
What do you think? 50, very good. 50% or 0.5 or 0.50. So in total, the area to the left of 0.94 is 0.50 plus 0.3264 is equal to 0.8264. So eto ngayon yung buong area ng shaded region. 0.8264 or 82.64% yung covered area. Okay? So, is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, next. How about this one? What is the area under the standard normal curve which lies to the right of z is equal to negative 0.65? Ito naman right. So, asaan si negative 0.65? Nandoon sa left side. Okay? Next. Saan dyan yung right side of negative 0.65? This one and that one. So the shaded, all the shaded portion or portions of the graph represents the area that lies to the left of negative 0.65. So using our z-table again, kunin natin yung area between 0 and negative 0.65. So there we have here 0.6. Again, pareho lang sila ng area ni positive 0.65. Then 0.05. Then take a look at the intersection. We have here 0.2422. So the area of this smaller shaded region is 0.2422. And we know that the area of the larger region or the shaded part is 50% or 0.5. So in total, the area covered or lies to the right of z is equal to negative 0.65. We just simply add 0.5 plus 0.2422 and it will give you a total of 0.7422. So eto na yung area, lahat-lahat. To the right of negative 0.65. Okay, next. How about this one? What is the area under the normal or under the standard normal curve which lies to the left of z is equal to negative 0.85? So saan si negative 0.85? Nasa left side. Saan yung left ni negative 0.85? Eto. Paano natin kukunin yan? Okay? Kasi in our z-table, the area that we can get is the area between the mean, which is 0, and the given z value. But in this case, ibang-iba ito sa hahanapin natin. This time, it lies to the left of negative 0.85. So, ibig sabihin, para makuha natin yung left ng negative 0.85, since alam natin na itong buong ito, yung half na ito, is 50%. So, ibig sabihin, para makuha natin yung left side, tanggalin natin yung area, between 0 and negative 0.85. So, dapat mawala yan. Okay. Para yung matira yung shaded region. So, of course, ilan ba yung tatanggalin natin? If this is 50%, so ilan yung tatanggalin natin sa 50% or 0.5? So, we need to find the area between 0 and negative 0.85. Again, same lang sila ng area ni positive 0.85. So, using our Z table, the area is 0.3023. So, ibig sabihin, ito yung area between 0 or the mean and negative 0.85. But since we are only looking for the area to the left of negative 0.85, tanggalin natin ito. So, we have here 0.5 because 50% ito or 0.5 minus 0.3023 and ang natira ay 0.1977. So, tanggalin na ito. And ang natira, we have this one, shaded region. And the area of this is 0.1977. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next. What is the area under the standard normal curve which lies between z is equal to 1.24 and z is equal to 1.87? So, paano naman natin kukunin yan? Okay, we have to locate again those z values. So, again, yung 1.24 nasa right side. Also with 1.87. Okay, so how are you going to find the area? So, or which part or which portion is between 1.24 and 1.87? Eto. So, how are we going to find the area of that? Okay. The first thing is we have to find the area of z is equal to 1.87. So, from 0 to 1.87, dapat alam natin yung buong area nito, itong shaded region na to. Okay? And what is the area of that? Tingnan natin. 1.87, 1.8, then yung 0.07 nandito. And the point of intersection, we have here 0.4693. So, ibig sabihin, the area of this is 0.4693. Okay? 4693. But since ang hinahanap lang natin is the area between 1.24 and 1.87, tanggalin natin ito. This part, okay, or this portion of the shaded region, which is the area between 0 to 1.24. So we need to find the area between 0 or the mean and 1.24 using our Z table. So 1.24, asan siya? This one. And the area is 0.3925. So, ibig sabihin, ang area nito is 0.3925. So, para makuha natin yung between 1.24 and 1.87, we just simply subtract the entire area of these two shaded regions, 0.4693 minus 0.3925. And what remains here is 0.0768. So, ibig sabihin, tagalin na natin yon. And the area between 1.24 and 1.87 is 0.0768. Okay. So I hope that's clear. That's clear to you. Okay. And last example. What is the area under the standard normal curve which lies between z is equal to negative 0.34 and z is equal to 0.64. So, ang gagawin ulit, locate those values sa graph natin. So, again, the mean is 0. Negative 0.34, it's located at the left of mean or 0. And for the positive 0.62, located at the right side of the mean. Okay. So, we are looking for the area between 0.34 0.34 up to positive, or negative 0.34 up to positive 0.62. So, ito yung hahanapin natin na area. Okay. This one. Itong buong ito. Okay, using our Z table, hanapin natin yung area from 0 to negative 0.34. So, ito siya. So, again, same lang sila ni positive 0.34. And the area is, using our Z table, 0.1331. So, ito yung area nito. And the area from 0 to 0.62, so using our Z table, we locate, and the area is 0.2324. So, ito naman yung area niya. Okay? So, to get the overall area or the area between negative 0.34 and 0.62, anong gagawin? We just simply add. So, in this case, 0.1331 plus 0.2324. And the total area is 0.3655. Okay? So, that is the area between negative 0.34 and 0.06. Is that clear? Did you understand?
Yes, sir.
Do you have questions? How to determine the area under the normal curve?
None, sir.
Okay. So if there are no questions, thank you for listening.